Today I'm going to show you how Canva can make you a magician.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard.
You usually wear a lot of hats when you're a business owner, and one of the smallest ones is typically designer. You have a lot of things to do in a business, and spending hours and hours trying to become the next Canva Picasso is not something you need to do. This is where Canva's Magic Studio can help speed up the process, get you back to work, and make you look like Gandalf the Grey in no time. Before we get too crazy, let's answer the question, what is a Magic Studio? Magic Studio is Canva's suite of AI tools, almost 20 tools that are designed to edit, reformat, and even translate your designs. Now, the Magic Studio has about 20 tools at the moment, and each one of them is designed to either make your design faster, more efficient, or help you cut back on some of the unnecessary tedious tasks in design. Not only that, but it's going to get you back to what actually matters. No, not your lunch, your business. Now, if you're not a Canva Pro user, you won't have access to all of these tools, but you will have access to some of them. To help you out, if you're watching the video version of this, there's going to be a little Canva Pro icon right up here in the corner every time a Pro feature comes up. You might be asking, before we even look at any of these features, how exactly is this going to help me, and is this video even worth watching? First of all, Canva's Magic Studio is going to speed up your designs. Who doesn't want to spend less time in front of their computer, right? Canva's Magic Studio takes the legwork out of a lot of the tedious tasks that we tend to deal with when we're designing social media content, flyers, business cards, really anything for your business. That includes tasks like removing backgrounds, staring at a blank screen when you get writer's block or idea block, translating content, which is especially helpful if you're making content in multiple languages. That gives you a little bit of freedom. That way you don't have to go back and forth between different platforms. You'll also be able to edit unwanted items from photos, make subtle changes to your designs, create animations and movement in your social media posts, and you can even bring joy to a small child's birthday party. Oh, wait. Sorry, wrong Magic. Magic Studio is essentially a one-stop shop to help make your design life easier and less complicated and get you back to what's important. Again, not your lunch, your life. So let's finally take a look at some of these features. I'll start with the free features and then move into the pro features. The first free option from Magic Studio is actually Magic Edit, which is an awesome tool that lets you refine some of your images. As you can see by what's shown here on my screen, you can actually go in, you can change different aspects of your image just through a text prompt. This is great on images that you've created already, photos that you've taken, or photos that you even pull from Canva's library itself. If you find a specific image that you like and you want to change that out with maybe something a little bit different, maybe a different color shirt on the actor or actress, or even maybe a different color of bag, or something along those lines, you can follow the steps that are actually shown here on the screen. So let's take a quick peek at it. So this is just a tester. If you go into Canva and you want to try out Magic Edit, this is actually going to be the tester image. So in order to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to click on Magic Edit on any specific designer photo that you want to use. And then you're going to choose what brush size you want. Okay, it's going to start and it's actually going to show you that right in the middle of the screen there. So let's go with like a 20, right? If we're going something a little bit bigger, like even this bag, I might go a tiny bit bigger just to make that selection process a little bit faster. And then what you're going to do is you're going to brush over the bag itself. Pretty simple. You're going to describe your edit. So change the color. Okay. It will give you some inspiration here, some different ideas. Obviously, the more descriptive that you are in this little text prompt, the better. So if I wanted it to be blue with stripes or checkered, I like a checkered with a checkered pattern. Blue and white with checkered pattern. And then I'll just hit generate. What it's going to do is it's actually going to generate 4 different options for me. Now, this is a generation tool, so it's going to take just a few minutes. Now, obviously, it didn't take my checkered pattern there, but you kind of get the point. So it'll take the entirety of that green bag and change it to a new blue bag, which is kind of cool. Gives you some different options just to kind of see what you're playing with, maybe some different patterns or fabrics or styles of bag or even different colors of blue. If you didn't quite like those, you can generate them again and get some different options to choose from. So let's say I like this one, then I'll click done, and there you go. There you have it. That's the whole Magic Edit tool. You'll be able to do this with different items in your photos. If I wanted to switch the color of this person's shirt, I could do the same thing there. If I had a different photo, I could do the same thing actually. If I wanted to choose this photo, make this the background, let's go into Edit Photo, Magic Edit, and then I want to take my brush and let's say I want to change these two red apples just to have something that stands out. So I'm going to continue, change to red apples. Now, again, this is a really cool tool if you're looking to make really minor edits. If I was looking to make some massive edits or get a completely different image here, this probably isn't the tool I would use, but it'll give you a lot of small edits. If you have let's say a headshot that you want to use on your LinkedIn profile, that could be something that you have Magic Edit do. Maybe you want to change out the shirt that you're wearing or how you look in the photo. See, now there's some funky ones in here, but I think this one's pretty good. It does show a little bit of the green still, but I could go back and refine that if I really wanted to. But this is a pretty good image because now that red really pops off. I do like that one, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And now I have a nice green aesthetic with some beautiful red apples on the table to kind of draw the attention. All right, the next magic tool is Magic Morph. Now, Magic Morph actually has a really cool kind of look here that you can see. Now, what Magic Morph is essentially, if you remember Microsoft Word, they had a word art where you could make beautiful images out of words and shapes and things like that. That's essentially what Magic Morph does, but more advanced. So it takes all of those different things. You'll be able to put in some different ideas. The ones that they have on the website are actually really cool. So the fruit salad is really cool, the foil balloons. You can see all of these different shapes and letters in that format. So in order to try that, what we would do is essentially we would hit a particular shape that we have in our design. So if we had a nice blank design here, and I wanted to tack in some shapes. Say I wanted a star and a sign and a pop. Pop, starburst, same, but different. Now, if I wanted to do this in my own design, there's a couple different ways I can do it. The most simple is going to be going to apps. So I've got a couple of shapes in here that you're going to be able to see. I'm going to add some letters in here to also help you out so we can kind of see this. Now we're going to go to apps. I'm going to just type in Morph, and Magic Morph is going to pop right up for us. Okay, so we can select one of the elements out of our design. Let's start with the lettering, and let's turn this into, now obviously it's going to give you some examples that you can kind of choose from, which are kind of cool. You can turn it into like party balloons, jewels, it's kind of sweet. Let's go ahead and turn it into a balloon. And I like blue, as you can see by the lights behind me. So we're going to change that to a reflective foil balloon. Let's try that out. I can already tell that's probably going to be the one that I pick. I do like that that's maybe a little different. This one is actually pretty nice right here. So now it's going to give me a brand new image, but those look like great little balloons. Nice little foil balloons that you see in the store, but they are in my lettering and how I want them. Now I can go back and I can select one of the other ones. Let's start with the heart. And if I want to do the same thing, I can go ahead and hit Morph again on the same prompt. And here are some different options for a foil balloon there. This one is a little funky. These ones are a little funny. Not quite sure I like that too much. We're going to go ahead and select maybe something a little bit differently. I do like maybe this flowers one or a pretzel. Let's go ahead and try some of these. And again, just like with any generative AI, putting in more of a prompt is going to give you more of a unique response. So if you put in pretzel, it's going to give you pretzel, and if somebody else puts in the same image, types in pretzel, it's going to give them the exact same image or close to the exact same image as what you're getting. Now, if you're more descriptive, the better, but just for the purpose of this demo, just to kind of see what this looks like exactly. Now, I don't know about you, but I love me a good soft pretzel. This looks absolutely delicious. A little funky for a design, but you kind of get the point of how the tool works. You'll be able to do that with really any shapes, lettering, but you can really do this with almost any particular element or text option that's in your design. So you can really play with this and get some very unique morphed images here for your designs. Now, Magic Edit and Magic Morph are the only free options, so they're the only ones that are offered on Canva Free. The rest are offered on Canva Pro. Each of these Pro options, though, is definitely worth the price. Having used Canva for the last few years, the Magic Studio alone pays for it. There are tons of different tools and options that will help also bolster that price, but just the Magic Studio and the time that it saves you in doing some of these tedious tasks and how it expands what you're doing with your designs will expedite some of your work and get you a little bit farther, a little bit faster. So let's move on to some of the Pro options. Number one is going to be the Magic Design. This is one that I don't quite use quite as much because I tend to go straight into my designs, or I'm working off of templates that I have from previous designs. What the Magic Design tool does is it allows you to create some on-brand images. It allows you to take either images that you currently have, maybe some stock photos from your company, or just general ideas. Maybe you have a specific idea for a short form video for Instagram, or maybe it's a story post that's a static piece. You're going to be able to put in a prompt, just like a generative AI, like we've been doing currently, and it'll pump out some different content ideas and templates for you to try. Let's jump back into Canva and take a look at how this works. Now, if you go to your homepage on your Canva desktop, or even on the browser, you're going to find a little Magic Studio button over here. You'll get to explore all of these tools again. If you click on Magic Design here, it's going to take you through a quick walkthrough on how this works, and then you can actually try it out. One thing that I like doing is just testing things out. So let's look at this was actually one that I tried earlier, an Instagram post announcing new product launch for a plant shop. Now, I choose this one because my wife loves plants, and it's a pretty easy launch product to put together. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a ton of different options in terms of some Magic designs. So all of these designs right here are not templates from other creators. They are designs that were specifically created from the Magic Design tool. Now, all of these look fantastic. I mean, these are beautiful designs. The one that really stands out to me, though, is probably one of these first two. I do really like this one, too, but I like that one. So then you'll be able to click on it, and then from here, you can customize it just like a template. You'll be able to change colors, change these photos if you want to a little bit, add your personalized text, change up with your brand kit. You can change in to have your brand specific colors and fonts in here, and even add your logo. So this isn't the final image. Obviously, you'll be able to go in and customize this 100%. Now, the other cool part about this, when you plug in that prompt for the Magic Design tool, you'll actually get a ton of design, a ton of templates. I mean, obviously this one's pumping out over 1 million different templates from creators and Canva itself. So you'll be able to kind of scroll through these and see if there's anything that maybe pertains to what you're looking for, gives you some different inspiration. I have used this in the past for inspiration for some of my posts. I don't use it a ton because most of the time I do tend to walk in with what I want, but I like some of the templates that it pops up because it's templates that I wouldn't normally search for or normally find in some of my standard searches when I'm looking for inspiration. So there's a couple of different options there to where you can get started. But again, you can go in here and you can customize this right to your brand kit. So if I wanted to select my brand colors and shuffle that on there, then I could obviously change that how I wished. You'll be able to edit really any of this. So if I wanted to change this color and go in and change the coloration on the circle here, maybe I could do that. And if I wanted to change out photos, then I could do that as well. So there's a lot of different options that you can play with and really customize these to make it your own product, which is awesome. The next tool from the Magic Studio is probably my favorite, the Magic Switch tool. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this, it used to be called the Resize tool or the Magic Resize, and they recently switched it, funny enough. The pun was definitely intended, but they recently switched it to Magic Switch. So what it does now is kind of an expanded version of what Magic Resize was. Magic Resize was obviously just resizing different designs to a new size, to a new format, to resize the whole thing. What Magic Switch does is kind of that, but on steroids. And what you're able to do here is you're able to transform, just like you were with Resize, to a new format, a new pixel sizing, whatever you're working with. So let's say you're working with maybe an Instagram post and you want to make it a story as well. You're going to be able to use the magic switch to do that, and it's going to actually reformat it for you with only minor edits required on your side. The other awesome tool that I personally don't use, but I find very, very cool, is the translate tool. So you're going to be able to go into your specific designs and actually translate the whole thing. This is super helpful if you're, let's say, a real estate agent who speaks multiple languages and talks to multiple different demographics. If you want to put out content that has multiple languages on it, this can really help bolster that, as well as make that process a little bit faster. Even if you know the language, having a process where this can make that translation a little bit quicker can help you pump out a little bit more content. One of the other cool parts is that you can actually take different things like presentations and turn them into something like a summary or a blog post or a report. Now, this can be really helpful if you're building a sales report or an annual review or something along those lines. You can turn it into a full report rather than just a presentation. That way you can give that to your boss. They can then see that in a different view. So let's say I wanted to take this particular photo here and just resize it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into Magic Switch up here in the top right-hand corner. Now, obviously, this particular image here doesn't have a lot going on. It's really just a photo. But if I wanted to switch it to then make it a design, let's say for an Instagram story, what I could do is go into social media and I could search Instagram story. The other way to do it is you can set custom parameters. So if you have a specific size that you're trying to work with, or if you know the pixel sizes for the item that you're looking for, that might be a little bit quicker for you. But for now, we're going to switch this to just an Instagram story, hit continue, and then I can either copy and resize it, or I can fully resize this design. Now, if I simply just wanted to resize this design, what I would do is click, obviously, resize this design. And then what it's going to do is it's going to take it to that particular size. Now, some of the images, if it's not the background, it won't manipulate it to the next size. So obviously you can see this particular photo was the background of the last image, and therefore it expanded with the expansion or the resize. This one did not, so all you have to do is just go in here and then resize it, and then maybe move it to how you want it. And that's pretty much it. If you have more elements, more text, you might have a little bit more movement. But the cool part about Magic Switch, in my opinion, is when you're doing content, you'll actually be able to have a lot of that content switched for you. The next tool on the list is Magic Animate. Now, this is one of my favorites. Again, one that I use in some of my social media content is you'll actually be able to animate some of your content on its own. Now, this is a series that I do on Instagram, time-saving tips for Canva. What I want to do is I want to use the Magic Animate tool, which is just right here. When you select on an element or a piece of text, you'll actually be able to animate it how you want. I'm going to try and animate this right here. And to do that, I actually want to take the shadow out. So I'm going to try and animate this. So now that I've got this selected, I'm going to go up to Animate and create an animation. Now, it's not going to show up as Magic Animate here, but what it does do is it kind of gives you a quick tutorial on how this tool works. If I wanted something super simple, just something to grab the attention of somebody, then I could do that. Now, if I wanted something a little bit different, let's say I want to smooth this out a little bit, I want it to go a little faster, maybe orient it to the path. I could flicker it to add some motion to it. I could have it pulse while it's doing that. I can rotate it. I can actually make these manipulations kind of however I want. If I wanted to go in and delete these, obviously I could go do that. But then once I have it at a comfortable spot where I'm happy with what the design looks like and what the animation looks like, then I'll just click done. And then I can actually view that. If I move my little ticker here, I can view that by hitting the play button. So it's going to give me that quick image and just a preview of what it's going to look like. The next tool is called Magic Media. This is essentially Canva's version of something like Midjourney. It's probably not quite as advanced yet, but it does produce some pretty quality content, and it's one less thing to have to switch into or sign up for. You can do it all right here in Canva. Essentially, the concept behind Magic Media is that you'll be able to create both images and short videos with the use of a text prompt. The bonus of having that is that you could spend hours searching for content, right? You can spend, I've spent 30, 40, 45 minutes just looking for the proper image before this came out that can fulfill what I'm looking for. Now, if I spend more than 10 minutes looking for something and I don't find it, I'm going right here. That way I'm not wasting any more time. I'm not poking around and really looking for something that might not even exist in Canva's library or in my own stock library. Now this one's a little bit more advanced, so I'm not going to go through a full tutorial. You can check out my page or hit the link below when that one does come out. When I do officially do the tutorial for that video, I'm actually going to link it in the comment below, so you can either find it there or check out my page. The next tool on the list is Magic Grab. Now this is one that I don't use quite as much, mainly for the fact that I just haven't found a lot of great purposes for it myself yet, but this is a really cool tool and one that I do actually really like. What the Magic Grab tool allows you to do is pull certain elements from a design and either move it to a new design or eliminate it from your current design. So if you have an image, let's say this hot air balloon here. If I wanted to move that hot air balloon into this space background, which would be pretty interesting of a photo to begin with, but if I wanted to do that, all I would need to do is select on the photo, click Edit Photo, click Magic Grab. What that's going to do is it's going to remove the balloon from the background. Okay, and now I can move it right into the space photo. Now, obviously, these aren't just one singular photo now. I would have to download that to make that a thing. But then I can resize it. I can change the layering. I can add more context to this, really whatever I wanted to do. But the other cool part about it is it actually cleans out the image that it was previously in. So it's essentially like pulling it from the old image to allow it to move, to change, and you can actually use this other image. So if I really liked the background and didn't want the balloon, this is a way that I could do that. And this uses the same technology from the Magic Expand tool, which is actually the next one I'm going to cover, to fill in that blank space or fill in the space that was previously taken by the balloon. This can be used for really anything. I mean, if you've got an interior design photo and you want to take like cups out of it, or, you know, if you've got something that you missed maybe when you were taking photos of, you know, like a real estate shoot or something along those lines, you can have something pretty easily removed or added for that matter from the image using the Magic Grab tool. The next tool is Magic Expand. This one I do actually use quite a bit for different photos. If I wanted the photo to be expanded a little bit so I can use it in a tall or story format, kind of like this, I'm going to use the Magic Expand tool to expand that image. It's going to either widen or make it taller based on the format that you have it set at. Because obviously I could stretch this out and it's gonna be kind of nice, but maybe I want more flowers in there, because this really, for this particular image, this makes it really finite in what I'm seeing, right? And I really like the initial image of, look at all these flowers, and there's so much detail here, there's so much abundance, and if I move this around, there's even more. So if I wanted this particular photo exactly where it's at, you know, maybe this isn't a great example, but if I wanted it to expand into a particular format, like this story format, all I would do is select the image. You're going to go to Magic Expand, and then you can choose from one of the different sizes here. Obviously, you can make it a square if you're working with a square format. You can change it to whole page to fit. The 9:16 is a really good format as well. What that's going to do is it's going to take the original image and make the original image size a 9:16. So obviously, there was a little bit more image than what I had displayed there on the screen, and that's going to take it to the full 9:16 sizing. Now, for the audio listeners, the Magic Expand tool really levels up what kind of photos you're playing with. If you're working with very finite photos, or you're working with photos that are a specific size, maybe you're only working with photos that are 16:9 format, so they're a horizontal format, and you're trying to work with that to make an Instagram story, but you need more of the image to show. The Magic Expand tool is a great way to get that full image in your story without sacrificing blank space, without having a lot of design work to have to do around it. You can really fill in that image in order to do that. Once I've selected an option that I do really like from the library that it gives you, you can make that the background now. So it's the perfect size to fit in an Instagram story. This is pretty much exactly what I was looking for, but I love the fact that it really expands on what was there. Now, you can see as we expand this a little bit, if you expand a lot, you're going to see the difference of where the original image was versus where the rest of the image is. You can very cleanly see where this flower started and where it ended, right? Now, that's some of the cleanliness of AI as a whole. There are very few generators that will give you very finite kind of things. There are some pretty deep workarounds, but I'm not going to cover any of those here. This is a way that you can get a more advanced image or a more formatted image than what you're currently working with. Really, my favorite part about the Magic Studio is that you don't have to be a wizard. You don't have to be Gandalf the Grey to get through your designs very quickly, very efficiently, and produce a lot of quality stuff. You don't have to spend a ton of time learning the ins and outs of Canva. This is going to help speed up a lot of that process and a lot of the tedious work that you're going to have trying to build your portfolio, social media content, flyers or memos, or really anything like that to present your company on a higher stage. Now, obviously, most of these tools are involved in Canva Pro, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth the price. I have had both the free and the pro versions, pro for a longer period of time, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth it. Now, the most important part is that you're going to speed up a lot of your designs and you're going to go from novice or first year wizard to fighting Voldemort in no time. My best suggestion for trying to master these tools, just practice. Just try these tools out, give them a shot, put a little bit of time behind how they work, how do you really understand them. If you want more of an in-depth look at how each of these tools work, I will be releasing over the course of the next few weeks tutorials on how to do all these through my YouTube channel. You can also find a quick tutorial through Canva if you go onto the desktop or the browser version of Canva and click on Magic Studio. You'll be able to walk through each individual tool as well. Now, if you're listening to this on audio, there is a tutorial version of this video where I actually walk through each of these tools in more in-depth format, and you can actually see it all in motion in front of you, which is a great way to do it. Kind of hits the brain center a little differently, and you can actually visualize a lot of what I'm talking about here. Thank you for joining me today on the Canva Code. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, follow me on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and stay tuned for more insights on how to use design and Canva to thrive. Thank you for listening, and remember, you Canva do it.